Yeah, I mean, he's just got to continue to improve. I know he had a good freshman year, and now he's just got to keep him getting better. And he will, just with going through an offseason with Scholes, that's going to be huge for him, just to mature, because he's a skinny old freshman.
And the same thing about Trey.
Yep.
Trey Wolf.
Trey had a really consistent year on field goals, and then to kind of tie into the first question, as the season went on, our touchback percentage went down on kickoffs. And so he's just got to get physically stronger, which he will as he matures. And then some of that's my job too. We got to make sure that we keep him fresh. But that will be his biggest emphasis in the offseason, is just to make his touchback percentage on kickoffs stay consistent throughout the whole year. Because he did wear down as the year went on. Again, some of that's my responsibility.
How well did things fall into place for your units last year?
I can answer that really succinctly. We performed at elite level. I know elite gets used too much in today's football, but we did. We performed really well in a couple units. We bottomed out on kickoff coverage, and then a couple of our units were just meat grinders, kind of steady, Eddie, positive yardage units, but they were kind of hard. And our performance was here, here, and here. And I told our players this in our first meeting: when you perform like that, you go home at Christmas.
So the units you were most pleased with were?
PAT field goal, statistically, we made 91% of our kicks. That's good. Punt, there were 3 teams in the country that had a better net punt. Those were the best units. But again, that's really not positive, because when this program's cooking, all 6 of our units should be at that level. We're just not there yet.
How do you go about improving the ones that you want to be better?
Well, I mean, that's spring ball. That's practice. And again, I don't think you really blame personnel. I mean, I can sit here and put it on the players and say we got new guys coming. That's really secondary. We just got to get fundamentally better at what we do, and that's every day out here, every day. And I'll be saying the same thing in October.
Did Trey Wolf surprise you at all?
Well, he probably surprised us from spring to fall, because we came out of spring ball quite uncertain, and he just had a great summer, and we probably weren't surprised by the end of fall camp. But that time between the end of spring ball and fall, we weren't quite sure what we were going to have. So that was a surprise. As the season went on, he really became trusted. He's got tremendous demeanor, tremendous.
In terms of just the consistency.
Well, in the secondary, I like a lot of the things that Zach McPherson's doing. I think he does a lot of things back there. By example, that's leadership for us. We moved DeMarcus Fields inside to the nickel position, and he's looked pretty good. And, the guy that I think has a lot of potential, that's a young guy on the football team, is Alex Hogan. He has a lot of natural talent in his role, but I'm excited about helping to develop him.
Is there anything about the group overall that, since we just talked to you a few weeks ago, that you noticed almost immediately here just in the last few weeks when you got around all of them?
Well, I think the thing of it is the one word I would say is hunger. I think the group is hungry for success. Just by the things that they've done, away from the field, as far as coming in, getting film study and questions that they're asking, and just the eye contact that they give you when you're trying to coach them. I think the guys are really, determined for some sex, and looking forward to, just trying to learn what they need to learn in order to get better.
Adrian obviously getting moved back to cornerback, which he was his freshman. I know you weren't here for that, but was that something you saw that he would be successful at, or who had those conversations?
Well, he was actually already penciled in there when I got here. And the thing about him, that's a very, very difficult position to play. And he's kind of at ground zero right now, so I'm just trying to teach him a lot of the basics that you have to learn in order to play that position. But the thing about him, he's a talented guy, and he seems to be a determined guy.
During this first week, I guess, what are you looking from your guys to kind of know that they're either locked in or just kind of ready to kind of learn and kind of ready to kind of get coached?
Just basic fundamentals of football. The simple things that take no talent. How well they take notes in meetings. How well they run to the football. The type of questions that they ask. The misnomer in football are all the things that you have to do off the field in order to be good on the field. A lot of guys dress up in uniforms just to be a part of a team, but being good and trying to win a championship is an all-the-time thing. So what we're trying to instill in them now is, it has to be something where we don't have enough time as coaches to get you as good as you can be. But I think the thing that we're trying to instill in them now and that they're catching on to is they're doing the things off the field to try to get themselves to reach their full potential.
With DeMarcus, you mentioned him kind of switching his positions. I guess what have you seen from him that's allowed him to kind of maybe be successful at least early on so far?
Well, he runs well is the thing that I see. He covers well being out there, and that's what you have to have in that position, because a lot of your opponents are going to put their speed guy in that position. It's going to be an agile guy. But again, he's determined, he's learning, he's listening, he has a great attitude, so I'm excited about his development as well.
The defensive backs on this team would probably tell you that that's the most challenging position to play on the field. What's kind of the personality and the mentality that you ask your guys to approach practice with every single day here in spring ball, when it's sometimes hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel?
Well, I think the thing you have to be is competitive. You have to have a short memory, and you have to be determined. Those guys over there on scholarship too, and that's the one thing I teach to all defensive backs when they're doing that. But you just have to buy in and listen. One of the hardest things to learn when you're trying to become good at something is you learn your best lessons from failure. And when things go bad, that gives me an opportunity on film to teach. That gives me an opportunity, as a coach on the field to teach, and it gives them a chance to find out where they went wrong, And it's like I was talking to him earlier today. When things go bad, the one thing you can't do playing defensive back is pout. You can't get upset, because the moment that you show that you're frustrated, or the moment you show weakness, is the moment that the offense is going to try and come exploit you. And I think the mental toughness part of it on my end is one of the things that you have to instill, just like you do any other technique in playing.
You mentioned it with Adrian, but going back to basics, is that something all these guys just really need to do, just practice those little details?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think anytime you're going through spring football, as coaches, you have to be patient enough to understand how to teach guys how to play the game of football. Schematics is something that we come up with. We spend a lot of time in the meeting room, but if you don't know how to play the game of football, it doesn't make a difference what kind of scheme that you're playing. So what we've all agreed upon as a defensive staff is we're just going to teach them how to play the game, how to run to the ball, how to fit their hands, how to get in a stance, how to look at formations and recognize what the offense is trying to do to them. Because when you go back and look at film on guys, a lot of those mistakes are made before the snap is even started. And if we can get good at those things, which take no talent, we've got a chance to get good at everything else.